Hello and welcome to the fifth episode of MIT Vishwashanti Gurukul's podcast, Abhivyakti Reflections Beyond Horizons. I'm your host, Aparna Sharma,
And I'm Lavanya Charan.
and today we're going to be talking on the topic of bullying and the psychology behind it. Here at MIT Vishwashanti Gurukul, we are deeply rooted in the values of global consciousness, ethical development, and holistic learning, fostering a culture that encourages both academic excellence and personal growth.
Now, bullying has been a very widespread issue, and especially amongst adolescents,
Yeah.
teenagers in schools. What sort of factors are ripe at this age in schools, especially, that invite situations of bullying?
Right. So let me divide this in some parts. Uh, we always say na, that for fire to happen, it cannot start on its own, right? We need three elements for fire to happen. First is a spark, second is oxygen, and third is the fuel, right? So if I compare bullying with the fire, I would say these three factors are essential for the bullying to happen. The first factor is the spark. The spark is where a person or a adolescent or even a child for that matter is going through a lot of frustration, emotional conflicts, insecurities, inferiority complexes, low self-esteem problems. Okay, where is this child going to vent off his emotional burden, right? So he wants somebody on whom he can unload this baggage. Okay, so that is the spark where the bullying can first start. Second, the fuel. To all who are watching the podcast today, I want to tell you that we all do play an important role in making bullying, if actually happen or even more prominent, because a behavior of a bully, when it receives appreciation in some way, or when that person feels that okay, bullying makes me look more funnier, more cool, more daring, and people respect me, nobody can dare to say anything against me. So all these are reinforcing patterns which we give to the person who is bullying, right? So we as bystanders, if we are even silent, it is enough for the bully to think that okay, it is fine to bully somebody, right? So that is the fuel which adds to his behavior. And lastly, the oxygen. Okay, always remember that any negative human behavior will not continue if it is faced by stringent consequences. So same is applicable for bullying. So every stakeholder who is involved in schools and colleges need to have strong policies, and those policies need to be implemented when it comes to bullying. There has to be stringent actions taken, because if there is no consequence, the person who is bullying will always think that okay, I can get away with it, so I might just continue it, right? So these are the three things which can lead to bullying actually happening. Okay, recently I was just walking for this podcast and I saw that ragging is prohibited. Do we all know that ragging is just one subset of bullying?
Yeah.
Right? So we don't want just the banners to be put, but each and everybody of us needs to be accountable to see to it that it is applied on our day-to-day practice, so as to not make bullying happen in our regular life.
What would you say is usually the psychology behind those who bully, as well as those on the receiving end of it, and what sort of mentality brings them in that position, and sort of how does it develop later on, like in their personality?
Right. So to answer the first part of your question, Aparna, I would say, let's consider the mindset of the bully per se. So many times, a person who is a bully is already suffering or is already having an underlying psychological issue. Say, for example, it could be ADHD, what we call it as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, impulse control disorder, anger issues, narcissistic personality traits. Okay, all these are underlying psychological issues which have never been found or left unaddressed, right? Second is deep insecurities, inability to regulate emotions, inability to control and manage emotions such as jealousy can lead to bullying. And also, there are certain traits where these people lack basic emotional aspects such as empathy, sensitivity to somebody else's suffering, what we call it as pro social behaviors. So, a lack of it, which has probably come because the person never saw pro social behaviors, was not rewarded for good behaviors. Rather, he was modeled when this person was growing up. He was probably growing up in an environment where it was seen that belittling somebody or demeaning somebody was okay. Probably the child has witnessed that. So the child finds it is completely fine for me to do that. Right? Same way, anybody who has not stopped his behavior when it was seen for the first time. Okay? So this leads to the mindset of the bully to keep growing inside. Coming to the mindset of the victim, most of the times these are the people who, again, are struggling with self esteem, who are shy in nature, who don't know to set adequate boundaries, who lack skills of assertiveness, who are vulnerable in some ways, or who prefer to be alone. So these are the people who are usually target of the bullies. Okay, where do they land? The second part of the question. Where do they land? Basically, the bullies. So if you go through the researches, you will find out that they have found 60% of the children who were into bullying have turned out to be either antisocial or even criminal in nature when they grow up into adults. Okay,
That's interesting.
right. So it is not a simple issue. I think even parents who are watching this, even if your child anytime has become a victim, or if you feel that your child is bit too aggressive, bit too dominant, or he's teasing somebody, then it is a time to check these behaviors. It is a time to regulate these behaviors, address these behaviors.
Yeah,
Okay?
even in movies, we do often see when it comes to when a protagonist is usually the criminal or
Yeah,
something like that, we see that it developed as a result of maybe society rejecting them or
yeah,
during their adolescent years, some sort
absolutely.
of rejection or like
Very true. Very true,
um,
Aparna.
resistance that they faced.
Very true. In fact, thanks for bringing up the point. Yes, many times bullies are the people who may have faced negligence, rejection from the society, and even sometimes these bullies are at some point of their time victims of some other bullies. So it becomes as a compensatory protective mechanism for them to become a bully just so that nobody tries to hurt them again. Right? So that is what goes in their mind.
That's pretty idealized. I've seen. I mean, the way she talked about how
Yeah,
movies portray this with
true.
protagonists, they idolize it, and
Yeah.
people learn how to do that, which is, I feel that's really necessary.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
because when you see glorification happening on the screen, we know the audiovisual medium has such a powerful impact on young minds. Okay, and once they see that it is being glorified, they want to imitate that, right? And they want to identify with that character. So, yes, thank you for bringing up this point.
Next we have, what are some? Oh, since you work with family and friends in this scenario, what are some red flags as a family or friend that you could spot to see if someone is being bullied? And
Yeah.
what can that family or friend, what role can they play if they know that bullying is taking place?
Okay. So, yes, it is important to be aware and well informed about the signs and symptoms if somebody is getting bullied. The first sign, usually, when we are talking about children and even adolescents for that matter, is that refusal to go to the place where they are bullied. Let's consider school. Okay. First is refusal to go to school. You can see that the child who was very happy go lucky, very happy, friendly child now wants to stay isolated, doesn't want to come out of his own comfort zone. Okay. Suddenly the child has become withdrawn. Okay. Then you can even see sometimes unexplained bruises, unexplained marks, or of some physical injury. And when you try to ask the child about it, the child is not able to give a proper rational explanation to it. Okay, poor academic grades or a significant drop in academic grades can be another sign. I always tell parents to check out the last pages of the notebooks of the child. Okay, because many times when the child is going through such things now, and the child doesn't know how to vent it out or how to explain what is happening, you can find lot of scribbling work or lot of drawings or lot of stuff that the child writes sometime in their notebooks. Okay, so you can maybe even find out from that. Third is that you will also see that the child is not wanting to make new friends. Okay, and you see that okay, my child was never like that. He was a very social, outgoing, extroverted child, and what has happened suddenly? Plus, there are certain signs and symptoms of depression and anxiety, sudden night terrors in sleep. The child wakes up in sleep, and you will find child weeping for no reason or being extremely sensitive for no reason. So these are some of the red flags which I think you should look for.
What are some patterns, like when we were talking about the effect of the media that really plays into this?
Yeah.
I think about what are some patterns when it comes to cyberbullying online, and what are some important things to spot, and especially, what role do you think that anonymity has in the role
Yeah.
of the effect that it has on the person psychologically?
Correct. Okay. So good that you raised this question, because I think for your generation specifically, your world is no more just the world in reality, right? Rather, virtual world has become a significant part of your life. Okay, and in fact, cyberbullying is one of the most I can say one of the most commonest things happening in today's times. Why? Because of the factor you mentioned, that is anonymity. Okay. When you know that there is hardly any chance of getting caught, you are going to lose your inhibitions much more often. Okay. So for example, suppose Aparna, me and you are having some, issue, and I don't like you for some reason. But I won't tell you on your face if I want to say mean things to you. Okay. But if I can go on Instagram, say for example, and I can create a fake profile of mine, and I can just go onto your Instagram and say all the things that I want to say to you, which are very bad, right? And you won't ever come to know that it is me. Okay. So this very frequently happens, that people impersonate or they create fake profiles and they want to troll somebody. Okay, because there is hardly any chance of getting caught. Plus, it is always easy to say somebody behind the back rather than via an eye to eye contact, right? We are the people who always want to avoid difficult conversations. So, social media is the place where everybody wants to come and put their trash in. Okay. So, cyberbullying is a very common form. Trolling is the most important thing that we need to know. And that is where, when you talked about the patterns, you will see that these are the bullies whom you will never suspect that he can go and talk such rubbish stuff. Okay, because you get a chance to have two identities or more than one identity. Okay, one which the world sees and one which the world cannot see, and all your hatred, anger towards anything and anybody you can pour in whichever language you want. Okay, unfortunately, we are still working. We're not there yet when it comes to stringent laws in cyberbullying, but I think we will soon be there yet. And I think it is our responsibility of all of us to see to it that cyberspace is a space to be not treated as a trash can. You just go there and just puke anything out there. Okay, it is a responsible tool.
When you talk about there being more possibilities to have more than one personality, I immediately kind of, one since we're talking about psychology, I kind of think of split personality disorders and
Yeah.
similar disorders. Would you say that's something that's often invoked in these sort of situations as a
Not
psychologist?
really, because split personality disorder is a very different psychological entity. It is connected with brain's ability, or rather, brain's need to dissociate from a traumatic experience. So, when I talk here about different personality, it is about what is all that which I know I cannot show to the world. So this is a very conscious phenomena, that I am somebody else. A simple fact where you use filters on Instagram. You want to hide your original skin, okay, or your skin color. So you use a filter because that's what your technology is giving you, right? So same way, technology is empowering you to mask yourself. Okay, so I know na everybody knows what are our flaws and what are the things that are harboring inside us. Our skeletons we only know. So social media becomes a facilitator for us to bring out those skeletons without revealing our identity. So personality here means that something that I already know about me and I'm just putting it out without anybody knowing that that is me.
So, what do you think is a major change that we need to see how cyberbullying is dealt with?
Okay. So when we talk about cyberbullying, first and foremost thing, if I want to say about the change, is that every person from this particular generation of yours needs to be vigilant about what are you posting, okay, and how much are you sensitive and how much seriously are you taking your cyberspace, be it Instagram, be it Snapchat, be it Twitter, everything, okay. So when I say what are you posting, meaning that think once that if I am facing this person in front of me, would I say the same thing in same words? If not, then I'm not supposed to post it even online. Okay, so that's the question everybody should ask, that would I have said it in the same words and in the same way to that person on whom I am posting? Okay, that is the first thing. When we talk about consuming the content, whenever you post something, you are allowing the world to, or rather inviting the world to say anything. Okay, so when you're posting, you have to know that trolling will and can happen. So you are not supposed to go into the victim mode. Okay, you should be able to keep aside the trolling part and know your rights. Okay, you need to report trolling, you need to report any kind of cyber crime that happens with you to proper channels. So one of the proper channel, what I would say, is responsible netism, is where you can just Google it. And if you are facing any kind of cyberbullying or cybercrime situation, please connect with responsible netism. You can Google it and you will find it out. Okay, they have their continuous helpline. Please report it. Please seek safety. Also, many times when cyberbullying has happened, children are afraid to tell it to the adults or report it to the teachers. Why? Because they feel that teachers or parents might tell, ki, who asked you to go on social media? Who asked you to post it? Okay, but even in that case, I would say please go and report to an adult nearby you. Worst case, what is going to happen is the adult will shout at you, but after that, the adult is going to help you. Okay, so let that shouting happen. Be okay with that rather than being okay with the continuous torture of being bullied online. Okay, so just choose your safety. Okay, by reporting well on time.
This question is one that is just personal to me, that I've always wondered, is when, like how you mentioned, that people are often ashamed to like say that
Yeah,
this has happened.
yeah,
This is like really common, like societal dynamic that we've
true.
all observed, which I never quite understood. Like psychologically, why is the person, the victim, ashamed to come out and say that this has occurred to them, and the person who must have done this, not
Yeah,
a lot of times not shamed at all,
yeah,
or not seen as a lot of horrible things, then the actual victim is seen as, a lot of times in harassment,
yeah,
where the person who's been harassed feels ashamed, and the person who did it goes out like
yeah.
as if they've done some really
Nothing.
glorious
Yeah.
thing.
True. So, I'll tell you an interesting fact which I have found in my practice is that whenever children who are getting bullied, they come to me, they usually tell me that I don't want my parents to fight for me, but I just want them to believe me. Okay, and not scold me for not being strong enough. Okay, so this is something every parent and adult must remember, that when any person is saying that I am being teased, I am being ragged, I am being bullied, stop questioning them, stop lecturing them, and stop advising them, and stop shaming them, as you rightly said. Because I will narrate you one short case of a 8-year-old girl, and she said to her mama that, mama, this girl is pushing me every day and she kicks me after I fell down. So her mama said that, see, I also experienced this, but I became strong and I told her, you're not supposed to push me, and I holded her hands.Hy can't you become strong? You're my child, you have to be strong. Be strong, nothing will happen. And that child closed from telling anything to her mother, simply because she realized my mom does not understand me. Because if maybe my mom is strong, but I am not, assertion, strength are the skills to be built up. Nobody is born with that. So if your child is timid, if your child is submissive, we need to work on those skills. Okay. So what is important is that you listen, you don't judge your own child, and you see to it that you offer support. Ask the child that, okay, how should I be helping you? Tell me where you need me. Okay, I believe you. I understand you. Okay, these are the things what everybody has to follow.
So along the lines of that, are there any psychological strategies or interventions that have been shown to help victims of
Yeah,
bullying, to like rebuild confidence?
yeah. So see, every case of bullying is unique, and we work in that way with every case. But here I will just give you a simple strategy. I call it as BBCC. Okay. So BBCC means, first B is for be boring. Okay. What do I mean by that? Whenever you are getting bullied, show that you are disinterested. you're not triggered, you're not getting affected. Instead, you're feeling bored by all the techniques that they are using to bully you. Okay, show that you're super bored with their techniques. Second, yeah,
Wouldn't that trigger the bully
no,
more?
it doesn't.
Because they would get annoyed that you're not being
They
affected.
will get annoyed, they will try more techniques, but if you continue being bored, they will realize that they're not getting any joy in making you suffer. The reason why bullies want to bully, because they find joy, because they win when you get triggered. When you get affected, they win, and they want to experience that win again and again.
What if it's like physical?
Yeah.
Um,
So I'm coming to that. So the next B
Okay.
is boring. After that, I call it as be a broken record. Okay. So whenever a bully is coming and the bully is trying to verbally bully you, you can always be a broken record by repeating same sentence again and again and again. Okay. I'm not liking it. Stop it. I'm not liking it. Stop it. No more interactions, no more questions that why are you doing this to me? Don't do this to me. Don't plead. Don't ask for explanation. Okay, that is the second B. Third B, I'm coming to your question also.
Okay.
Third B is confusion. Okay, make them confused, make your bully confused. So if your bully is saying ki, okay, you're a moron, suppose, okay, then you can give them comebacks, right? Oh, that's original one. Or can you come with something more original? Okay. Oh, I've heard this many times. Anything else you have to say? So you confuse them by giving most unexpected response. Okay. The last C is about confidence. Okay. And that is where it comes to your thing, physical. See, when a bully approaches us, we may not feel confident inside, we may not feel strong inside, but you can act like it. Learn to act like you're confident, you're strong. Use your body language to show that even if the person attacks you, you are right there in the posture to defend, okay, or give it back. So you can learn to act, okay. Portray confidence, portray a very, very strong body language. Don't do like this. Don't become meek in front of a bully. Even if you're feeling meek, don't show it. Okay. If the abuse is physical, that is where also we have to understand it has to be reported immediately. Okay. Plus, you have to use defensive techniques like simply holding hands. You don't need to attack, but you can hold the hands. Also, to counter abuse, one more thing is that never try to be alone. Whenever possible, always have some company with you. Okay. And plus, as I said, reporting is super crucial. Okay, don't get afraid that if I report and then if the teacher takes some action, then again he will find me and beat me more. Okay, that is one of the commonest fear, right? But I would say even if that is the fear or even if that happens, still you keep reporting. Okay.
Another really common fear is that they'll be found out by the family and they don't want to be found. They don't want their family, like the thing we were talking about, that they
Yeah.
don't want their family finding out. A lot of people, they don't report it because they don't want other people knowing,
Yeah.
because they're sort of ashamed
Yeah.
that this is happening to them.
Correct. So that is why probably we are doing this podcast also, right? That if parent is watching and if they have watched this podcast, now they can be vigilant enough to pick up the signs and initiate conversation by their end, even if they feel that the child is not opening up. Just initiation of these conversations will make the child feel comfortable ki, okay, I can talk about it. Okay. So it is important that conversations in family about these sensitive topics, bullying, ragging, should keep going on and on so that child knows that this is a space where I can talk about it. Okay. Secondly, any friends are there who are watching and they know that friend is being bullied, but the friend is not having the courage to stand up. Maybe it is your turn to stand up for him. It is your turn to protect him. It is your turn to motivate him to go ahead and set boundaries or even possibly report, right? So that is where society should come as a rescue to these children. And plus, to the victims who may not have social support, I would still say that if you're listening to this podcast, this is the time. Take that one courageous step, because it is better to take that one courageous step than to suffer for the longest period of time. Okay.
I think you answered the biggest piece of advice question. So I want to thank you, Dr. Ananya Chitle, for joining us today and sharing your valuable insights on psychology, mental health, and the interplay with occurrences of bullying. And I thank the audience for listening to it. Be sure to take a look at Dr. Chitle's YouTube channel for more knowledge. Is there a final message you would want the viewers today to take home?
Yeah, certainly. Let us just have a quick activity here, okay? You have to tell me what I'm saying is a fact or an opinion, okay?
Okay.
Sun rises from the east.
Fact.
All roses are red.
Opinion. That's not
Okay. Aparna, you're boring.
Well, opinion, obviously.
Okay. Lavanya,
Yeah.
you look beautiful.
I want to say that's a fact, but that's obviously an opinion.
Right. So, what I wanted to show here is that there are some facts and some opinions. Okay. Whatever be bullying, trolling, it is eventually an opinion. Okay.
Right.
Somebody can say that, Aparna, you are looking good. Somebody can say you are looking great. Somebody can say you're looking absolutely a disaster. Okay. But it is still an opinion. Okay. It, even if 1,000 people say a opinion 1,000 times, does not make it a fact. Okay. And if 1,000 people say a fact 1,000 times, it is still a fact. Okay. So always remember that bullying is nothing but an opinion about you. Okay. If you surrender to that opinion, then you are letting them win. Okay. So always differentiate. No matter whatever, can anybody can say whatever they want, but it does not define you. You're stronger than what you think. So even if it is physical bullying, you can fight it up. You can set the boundaries. You just have to take that one step. That's it.
Thank you, Dr. Ananya Chitle, for joining us today and sharing your valuable insights on mental health, psychology, and their interplay with occurrences of bullying. And thank you to our audience for listening in. Be sure to take a look at Dr. Chitle's YouTube channel for more knowledge. Stay curious and stay tuned to Abhivyakti Reflections Beyond Horizons.